All right, welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever felt like house training your dog is just this endless, exhausting battle of wills, and let's be honest, a constant threat to your favorite socks, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're throwing out the frustration and taking a completely stress-free, science-based approach to house training. We're going to dig into the actual behavioral science behind how your dog learns and exactly how you can use that to your advantage. No more guessing, no more stress, just clear, actionable steps. Let's do this. Because, we've all been there, right? You walk in the door after a super long day at work, and boom, right there in the middle of your living room, a fresh mess on your favorite rug. And your dog? They just bound up to you, tail wagging, completely clueless. It is incredibly frustrating. But before you lose your cool and shout, we need to talk about a major mindset shift. Because yelling, it doesn't just fail to help, it actively works against you. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the potty training struggle. Second, decoding canine communication. Third, the science of learning. Fourth, essential tools for success. And finally, number 5, graduating to freedom. Starting with Section 1, the potty training struggle and exactly why yelling fails. Okay, so there is a massive disconnect between human logic and dog logic. For us humans, delayed reactions make perfect sense. If you find a mess hours later, you get mad. Simple, right? But dogs, they have an associative learning window of literally just a half second. A half second. So if you're yelling about a mess they made 5 minutes ago, or even worse, 5 hours ago, they are absolutely not connecting your anger to that accident. To them, you're just being this terrifying, unpredictable human while they're just trying to say hello. And that brings us to why punishment is just completely counterproductive. There are 3 big reasons here. First, like we just said, they simply do not understand delayed anger. Second, and this is a biggie, it destroys their trust in you. If you become unpredictable and scary, they're going to stop listening to you altogether. And third, yelling can actually create way bigger long-term problems, like triggering what's called submissive urination. This is basically when a dog pees just to show you they aren't a threat. So by yelling, you might actually be creating more accidents in your house. Moving on to Section 2, decoding canine communication and how to read the signs before it's too late. Look, dogs don't have words, obviously, but their body language, it practically screams their intentions. Intense sniffing is a huge giveaway. Dogs have this natural instinct to scent mark, and they really want to avoid going where they eat or sleep, so they're sniffing around to find that perfect spot. You might also notice them pacing, walking in tight little circles, or maybe just having a sudden bout of whining and restlessness. If you see your pup doing any of this, they are actively communicating with you. And if you see them suddenly get this super focused look with a rigid, pointed tail, or, red alert, they actually start to squat, you need to act instantly. But stay calm. Don't yell. Just quietly interrupt them. Scoop them up or grab the leash and immediately redirect them outside to finish the job. And if they do finish outside, man, throw a massive praise party. All right, Section 3, the science of learning. This is all about consistency and patience. So this whole process basically boils down to one psychological concept, associative learning. It's just making a connection between 2 events that happen together, and then strengthening that connection through repetition. Think about it. If your dog goes to the bathroom on the grass, and within that magic half-second window you give them a high-value treat and tons of praise, they form this incredibly powerful association. They literally learn, hey, going potty on the grass equals delicious treats and happiness. The more consistently you repeat that sequence, the faster the habit is going to stick. But there is a massive biological roadblock that can ruin all of this, and that is stress. When dogs are stressed out, maybe because the household is chaotic or you're acting super frustrated, they release stress hormones like cortisol. And here's the crazy scientific reality. Cortisol actually physically impacts their digestion and elimination habits. A stressed dog is biologically prone to go to the bathroom much more frequently, which makes getting them on a schedule practically impossible. So staying calm isn't just a nice idea, it's a biological requirement for your dog's success. Which brings us to Section 4, essential tools for success. Let's look at some actionable methods you can actually start using today. First up is a tool that is brilliantly simple, the Potty Training Journal. I know, it sounds a little extra, but by just jotting down the exact times they eat, drink, and play right next to when they actually go potty, you're going to start seeing undeniable patterns. You'll figure out exactly how long it takes your dog to need a break after breakfast, and then you can proactively take them out before an accident even has a chance to happen. It's a total game changer. Next up is what we call umbilical cord training. Super straightforward. You just clip a standard 6-foot leash to your dog and loop the other end right to your belt. Then you just go about your day. Because they're tethered to you, they literally can't wander off into the guest room to make a mess. The absolute second you see them sniffing, you rush them outside and boom, reward them. It guarantees constant supervision, so bad habits don't even have a chance to take root. Now look, accidents are still going to happen. It's part of the process. But when they do, the golden rule is to clean it up quietly using an enzymatic cleaner. This is absolutely crucial because dogs communicate through their sense of smell. Standard household cleaners, they do not break down the specific enzymes in pet waste. If your dog can still smell it, even if you can't, they're going to think, oh, cool, this rug is my designated bathroom. Enzymatic cleaners actually destroy those scent markers, which completely prevents repeat offenses. Another incredible tool is bell training. This gives your dog a literal voice to tell you what they need. It's pretty simple to start. You positively introduce a bell at the door using treats. And then, every single time you take them out for a break, gently nudge their nose or paw against it so it rings. Absolute consistency is key here. Before long, your dog will make the connection and will actually start ringing the bell themselves to signal, hey, I need to go out. All right, final section, part 5, graduating to freedom and moving beyond the crate. So how do you actually know when they're ready for more independence? Well, you want to look for a few specific behavioral checkboxes. First, they need to be totally calm when left alone outside their crate. You want to be seeing absolutely zero accidents in the house, no destructive chewing whatsoever. They should be settling down quickly instead of pacing around anxiously when you give them free roam. Oh, and if they voluntarily wander into their open crate just to take a nap, huge green light. It shows they feel really secure. But here is the biggest pitfall owners run into at this stage, giving way too much freedom way too soon. Opening the crate and just giving them access to the entire house, that is just begging for overwhelming regression. You've got to expand their space gradually. Use baby gates or puppy dividers to give them access to just one room at a time. Test them with super short, supervised absences first, and then slowly build that up over a period of days or even weeks. Because all of this leads to the ultimate goal: the consistency, the tracking, reading their body language, the extreme patience. All of it leads to a happy, well-adjusted companion. A dog who actually understands the rules of your home and, most importantly, feels completely secure living by them. At the end of the day, proper house training isn't just about keeping your rugs clean. It's really about the dog's well-being and the harmony of your whole household. When you swap out that frustration and punishment for actual science and positive reinforcement, you completely alleviate the dog's anxiety, and you build this incredibly strong bond that is rooted in mutual trust. So I want you to think about your relationship with your pet right now. How is that bond going to change once you replace all that frustration with clear scientific communication? House training really doesn't have to be a struggle. It's actually your very first opportunity to build a lifelong foundation of trust. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and seriously, best of luck with your training journey. You've got this.